Salam, Allah. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
spots, trying to find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. We're gonna deflect. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
A beast mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna give themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Boom! That is just to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
And hello everybody, it is another wonderful night to be duking out in the NA Open Division console tier here, the bracket itself. It is Dakr Sun versus the Vicious Infernos for tonight's game on CGL 3, that is. I'm Mataneva, joined by the wonderful and lovely Tryhard Ray. How are we feeling today?
We're feeling absolutely fantastic. We got some great divisional matchups coming in. First round of the playoffs. Winner does end up playing Mental Institute. So a lot on the line as they're going to have a tough round 2 matchup. But keep in mind, this is double elimination. So it is not over for either of these teams tonight.
Absolutely. And if you can see any sort of, thinking of what could happen tonight, given from yesterday's match in the same bracket, that being, Potato Pillagers versus the Vicious Outlaws. It was a 4-map series, incredibly close all the way up, and with another Vicious org team here, that being Vicious Inferno, I am looking to see something of the same fate here between both of these teams, that being them going so far into the series, ideally a map 5, as this is first to 3 first and foremost, right? So lots of time to adapt, lots of time to get those comms situated, lots of time to get that synergy as well between these two teams.
Yeah, the Vicious org is doing a really great job. So as you mentioned, Vicious Outlaws getting the big W against Potato Pillagers, but Vicious Sharks had a bye, so they're automatically into the second round because they had a great regular season. And we're on CGL 3, so that means there are 2 other concurrent games going on at the same time on CGL 1 and CGL 2. And on CGL 1, we have Demon Kittens going against Vicious Control. And then we have another Vicious team with Vicious Inferno for this one. So they all have, basically, they could be in a situation where they have 4 teams in the second round, and they wouldn't even be facing each other yet. Like, that's pretty lucky for an org.
That is very lucky, because, those team kills do tend to happen so early on in these smaller brackets. I mean, there's 12 teams, 4 of them with the bye, right? So 16-man bracket, quote unquote. And the fact that they can kind of comfortably wait till around round 3 to duke it out with one another, I mean, that's right. And I would take that any day of the week if I was any of the Vicious teams. But let's talk about Dakr Sun for a second here as we move on to the rosters we'll be seeing for the night. For the side of the Suns, we have Inu. Oh yes, the Inu Demigod Sun duking out with that DPS line. The Widow, clearly Inu's favorite, and Widow has been kind of strong as of late, so kind of excited to see how she's going to be able to do on that role. Blitzito on the oh wait, Ryan, my favorite character? I hope I see some Ryan today, Ray. I love seeing some good Ryan brawl. Sin and Mastor in that back line, looking like a little Juno Brigida coming in here from the side of them, which honestly, extremely strong support back line. I am totally all about it. This looks like a really, really solid lineup, and even more solid icon. Look at the logo. I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And Demi Godson and Blazido are definitely big names in the console gaming scene. So those are going to be two names I'm sure a lot of you guys in the audience are recognizing and to keep an eye out for as this series develops. So with that, let's go ahead and bring up that Vicious roster for you guys as we have Ralsei, Beastology, Immortal, and I believe... I don't know who the other two are yet.
There's a couple. They do. I see on the roster we have here at least. We have Risky and Anime coming in for that support backline for Vicious Inferno. They trolled us. There we go. Here are their... Oh, these are definitely not their favorite characters, but they didn't want to flow it out, so we did the pleasure and the honor of doing it for them. This is gonna be the lineup for Vicious Inferno, and I mean, again, this logo itself. I love talking about logos. Looks pretty vicious in and of itself, so I'm excited to see how they are going to be duking it out against Dakr's Sun in this first to 3 series. As always, Control is going to be our first map of the day, as it always is, as the, at the end of the day, Control is what brings us together, right? So I'm very excited to see what we are going to be starting off on, because yesterday we started off on Lijiang Tower, which was, a little classic, and today looks like it's gonna be no different. Lijiang Tower gonna be what we're gonna be seeing tonight first and foremost.
Yeah, it's because how we duke it out here in CGL to make things all fair. We have a set map number 1 for each round. So for round number 1 for Control, it is going to be Lijiang Tower, and then it'll be a loser's pick after this. So no advantage one way or the other for either of these teams. So very excited to see this as Lijiang Tower is like that classic Overwatch map. What do you think of Control maps for this? And it's going to be very brawl-centric. I mean, we do know there is the Gardens map that can lead to more dives, but what we've been seeing, especially with these new changes, Mauga is extremely strong, so it would not surprise to see that come out of the gates.
And we saw it last night as well. We saw the Mauga come in from the Vicious Outlaw, specifically on Eichenwald, and right, when I tell you that Mauga was stomping over everybody, Mauga being so strong right now, not quite solidified as meta, as we're still trying to figure out, not we, definitely not me, the top level team is still trying to figure out exactly what are the options here, because we still see the Ramattra being played, we still see the Orisa being played, even the D.Va making an appearance. So some tanks that have pretty much been top 3, top 4 in the past couple of months already, still seeing so much of that domination in the tank role, but Mauga making a resurgence, kind of getting his leg back up in there in the tier list, makes things a little bit scarier. You have to kind of change around your whole game plan just for that beautiful, man. Love me a good Mauga, I can't lie. I love Mauga.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. I think ever since they started fine-tuning him a bit, where it's not like a bunch of Maugas just shooting at each other and not moving a whole bunch anymore, where it's a little bit more dynamic and it's more about like a coordinated, almost like ground dive attack. That's been where Mauga's been a lot more interesting. So as we get you guys loaded up into Lijiang Tower, we will be starting on Control Center. No surprises for either team. I think we're likely going to see the Brig Juno backline all night long. It's the most powerful. It's the best. One thing from Vicious Inferno, which is interesting, is they are highlighting the Junker Queen. And what I have been noticing and been hearing from teams that are scrimming, where, if you don't play the Mauga, the Junker Queen, despite the nerfs, still a secondary good tank to play if you don't favor the Mauga.
I fully agree with you here, and it's so difficult. I mean, it's not difficult. It's so interesting to see the different compositions we have here, save for the backline, of course. And look at the rotations we're taking from Vicious Inferno. Instead of going right to the right room, we're going straight into the server room behind the white room of that high ground and forcing a smaller enclosed space to be done here. Here comes the charge, a shell expended almost immediately from the side of Immortal, and the rest of Vicious Inferno being pushed back right where they came out from. And with the power of that Reaper in the front line with Blazido on the Mauga, Immortal just kind of gets shut down so quickly there.
Yeah, this is the top tier meta that Darker Sun is playing, and what we expect to see is going to be the Mauga with the Reaper Echo. It's a lot of damage. It's just a big get in your face and let me throw a bunch of damage on you. You can't do a whole lot about it. They did a great job at the beginning, but they could not outlast it. They're going to have to get kills faster.
And we're already spinning in right in with the Hyper Ring coming in from the side of the Dakr's Sun. And I mean, just like that, you've lost your Juno. You lost arguably your main source of healing. So just like that, the fight's pretty much done.
that it is they're going to look to try and re-engage as we see Pure on the Ashe trying to find an off angle, but they're down players. They can't afford to push too aggressively.
Another big charge, even better pick coming in from Demigodson on Todoroki himself. Oh, Todoroki himself going down so quickly there, no Brig, and same as Pure. And it looks like Dakr's son doing such a great job of kind of forcing Vicious Inferno to go back to their spawn room multiple times so early on.
Yeah, not a lot of, you know, if you're Vicious, if you're losing these fights, at least you pull out ult, but you haven't even been able to do that. Dakr's son has just done a great job of being, you know, disciplined and just finding these kills through their rotations alone.
Demigodson getting real sneaky here, has the death button ready for that ultimate, and just like that, we're gonna be popping it immediately. The coach gun kind of saving Pure in that moment. The ball isn't getting expended, and Demigodson getting punished by OBCology for such a cheeky death button that he was absolutely going for, and Sin not able to get out of there in the nick of time, getting shut down again by OBCology.
Demigodson, that was very questionable. I mean, the Death Blossom, I like the idea, but he literally died with Wraith in his back pocket. Like, I feel like in that situation, that's not really okay. You're gonna get the point and flip. Vicious Inferno now looking to build things up. And this Junker Queen, the reason why it's so good is the ultimate. It does a lot to counter this orbital ray that Sin has.
That isn't even going to be used as well. The damage, the rampage, the anti, the bleeding from again, the Junker Queen ultimate is so strong against Malga, against Juno. And you see exactly why everyone's so squishy on the side of Vicious Inferno. I'm sorry, the side of Dakr's son here. They just kind of evaporate. Now, Inu, she opts to go for the duplicate at the very end, at the very end of that fight. And I'm not sure if I really agree to expend it so early on, especially as Pure gets the headshots needed onto Inu to send her back to that spawn room. Now, Dakr's son is just going straight in with the aggression.
Oh, here does go down. Blazito's gonna clean up on a Maiden despite going down one early in this fight. The side of Dakr's son is able to make things happen, find fast kills, and that is the nature of this composition. In the blink of an eye, they're able to wipe out Vicious Inferno.
And poor Immortal still getting pelted down by Bazito on that Malga, kind of mirroring that rush for rush comp that Junker Queen usually thrives in. Now Bestiality going up to the high ground, waiting out, maybe scouting to see what is the option from Dakir's son on this low ground. And of course being sought by Demigodson, so huge to make sure Bestiality is kind of not available in this fight. The cage is ready as well. There's only mainly the bomb from Pure that's going to be charged up enough for this next engagement. That might be just last fight. We have now gone over to 99%. And just gets shut down by Inu on their own Ashe.
Death Blossom's gonna come out, but everything's cleaned up. Everything looks good. Dakr's son takes map number 1. That cage was just absolutely everything. And the swap over to D.Va, it just wasn't enough. D.Va used to be incredibly strong. Still a good pick right now, but it's tough sledding having to go up against that Malga. Like, it feels bad because it almost feels like at this point you got to match the Malga. I mean, there were great points with that Junker Queen where they got aggressive, found their picks fast, but you got to consistently be able to find that. And I think, you know, they did waste a lot of percentage using that rampage to their advantage and got some kills off it. I still think it needs to be like an anti-orbital ray kind of tool.
I absolutely agree. The amount of times I've been hit, as you know, with the rampage, and I'm like, wait, this is actually the best counter I've ever seen in a game in my life. Looking like we're going over the night market here, a little more open, a lot more aerial space to be working with, but looks like Dakir's son working with the symmetrical teleport already situated and settled on this point and set up with those aforementioned turrets available to Inu's kit here. Immortal going over to the arguably immoral Orisa pick here, but into the Malga, I completely agree. At least able to kind of negate a lot of the pressure that Malga does give, but as I say that, the forefront of expended can't even press on because of these turrets, and now Inu in the backline peppering a lot of damage with these secondary fires from the Symmetra, and just like that, Immortal pelted down by Demigodson on this Reaper once more, forces the Wraith from Obesiology, who has now gone over to their own Reaper, so no Tracer to really distract the team here, so they can just go right in.
Vicious Inferno is trying a lot of different ways. Feels like they just don't feel comfortable mirroring this Malga. I feel like if you're not going to mirror the Malga, your best shot is going to be that Junker Queen. Now they're going to try why am I blanking on his name? The Ramatra now.
And I love the Ramatra pick. I mean, you have that survivability, and you have Pure on the Cassidy to help out with that burst damage that Phantom Hammer or that primary fire on the headshot does do. But I mean, It's a big trade at least. Wait, that's big. And it looks like a lot more red in that kill feed, forcing Luzido to kind of back up a bit here. And Pure is making some moves with this Cassidy. And just like that, I mean, Sin getting his own, not once but twice. Kind of being allowed to run rampant in the backline. But there we go, Immortal shutting down Sin and getting a really good stagger on top of that.
I love the DPS swaps made to go along with this Ramattra, with the Reaper and the Cassidy, because you're going to need a lot of damage to output, especially when they're playing Sim Reaper, and then Mauga's just very beefy. And then you also have that flash available to slow things down when necessary.
We have double Death Blossoms ready and arguably double Orbitals as well, but Anime can be able to rip his down first, but the Death Blossom gets traded out 1-for-1. Inu and Todoroki going down for the count. And again, it is going to be Vicious Inferno, who now looks so comfortable with the Ramattra, with the Cassidy. They're now making Darker Sun bleed here.
Agreed, but they used Orbital Ray in that fight. Dakr's Sun held onto it, so they're going to have that useful tool of their own to come in this next fight, and that should be enough just to win the fight on its own.
And with the Symmetra wall, even better. Oh, look at they're walking with that aforementioned Orbital Ray. And we teleport right in. I love the fact that we're going in for the rally on both sides here. But Token looking a little bit worse for wear. Master is shutting him down almost immediately. And now, I mean, it's just Immortal being pelted by a level 3 Symmetra. It is a one and done deal for Dakr Sun.
Yeah, that I feel like if you're Immortal, you wanted to hold on to that that annihilation. It was unlikely you're going to win that fight after they committed that Orbital Ray, and you would want this for the re-engage. We see Anime now going to go over to the Ana, which it's a great tool, especially when you're playing, you know, Juno Brig. You don't have any kind of anti-cure.
They kind of have to hold all that damage coming in from that Anthony. You're absolutely right. Ooh, Raid Force so early, but here a great sweep comes through. Blitz able to find a little bit of resurgence behind that little corner of the wall of Lijiang Tower, and suddenly it's Dakr Sun finding so much value once again. Demigod Sun, as you mentioned earlier, a name to be known in the console league here, and for good reason.
One last opportunity for Vicious to try and make something happen. The only one who's close to an ult is Bestiology, but Demigod Sun is waiting and lurking with that Death Blossom.
It could really go either way here. In the perfect world, it does go in the way of Vicious Inferno, but looking a little bit even the kill cam, but we've lost Luzido and the I'm sorry, not the Orbital Ray, that's a complete lie. The Death Blossom gets expended, but slept by Ana Main, which is absolutely massive for the side of Vicious Inferno. Unfortunately, that turret coming in to bite Pure right in the butt, and look, Demigod Sun looking at Ana Main with all of his eyes, and just like that, after looking so in favor of Vicious Inferno, it's the Dakr Sun who finds the win at the end of the day and takes it up a leg in the series.
Yeah, Bestiology got that Death Blossom up a little bit too late and was found dead before he could take advantage of it. That might have been the tool they needed to flip that on its head and give themselves a chance to tie that map up. But Dakr Sun, give them credit. When their backs were against the wall, they knew and came through with the goods. All their players, Demigod Sun, and their tank were just absolutely smashing it.
And I have to give flowers to Sin on that Juno as well, able to keep up their tank multiple times during those exchanges where typically the Ana nade should be enough to snuff out a Malga like that, especially when he can't go anywhere in that cage fight. But again, the peel from Sin there, as you just saw him play the game, was massive to allow that win to happen for the side, for the side of the Dakr Suns. And you know, going into our map 2, as we mentioned earlier, losers get to pick both the map and the mode, which can be leading to some interesting picks that we could be seeing from the side of the Vicious Infernos, as they can take it to more of a brawl. The Ramattra brawl was beautiful. It had a lot more power than the Jungle Queen, for example, than the Orisa for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did want to highlight themselves in a more brawl map. First thing comes to mind, of course, is going to be King's Row, but we have a couple that really could work for the side of the Vicious Infernos.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't pay attention to the rules. I'm just going to be honest. What modes do they get to pick between?
I think they can pick between, they can't pick control. They can pick hybrid, escort, clash and flash are one and the same. So clash point, they can pick either or, and I think that's all of them. So,
Oh, okay. So they just pick whatever mode they want.
yeah,
Okay,
they
I
can
see, I
pick
see.
anything they want. So
Yeah,
it's
so
super interesting.
I got my NECC collegiate brain in because map 2 in that one they get a pick between escort or hybrid. So I was like, oh, is that what we're doing now? But oh man, you can pick whatever. That is
Oh, yeah,
actually
it's huge.
that's a lot of strategic situations going on here, which I actually like. I like that leagues are starting to do that. It just puts the power more into the players, and it's awesome.
It does. I think Overwatch Champion Series started doing it first, and I was really happy that a lot of other orgs started to implement it more into their own map pools. I'm sorry, map rules, and it's just so it keeps you on your toes a little bit because you never know what the other team's thinking. Like, okay, we're not gonna control. We have the option of let's go flashpoint, make it a little bit faster. We can play that Dragon Queen rush. We can play it to our heart's content, and we can outpace the Malga on like a Servasa or a New Junk City. Or they can choose like slow it down. Let's go to I don't have the map in front of me, excuse me. But let's go to like a circuit. Let's go to like a Junkertown where we can outspace the brawl that that clearly that the Dakr are wanting to play with the Malga. So I love it. It's so exhilarating to know what they're going to be choosing for their map 2.
Only time will tell. But for Vicious, I mean, we got some score updates coming in on CGL 1. It looks like Vicious Control is up 2-0. So another Vicious team looking really good right now. Hopefully for the side of Vicious Inferno, they can look to turn it around. Golden Hour and Ace of Spades is the other game going on right now. That is on CGL 2. But man, for an org like Vicious to try and make it a clean 4-0 into the next round would be pretty awesome. And then, like we mentioned, they wouldn't even have to face each other. You could be in a situation, I don't think it's likely given some of the teams they're going to have to face, but you never know. You could be in a situation where all 4 Vicious teams make the semifinals of the upper bracket.
And what better win under your belt than 4 of them with 4 of your own teams repping your org. And ooh, looking like we're getting a couple of swaps here, looking like Pure coming in and Elemental coming in for a side of the Vicious Infernos, and same rosters for Dakr. Juno is really close and she's really zoomed in, staring at us from the screen here. Wow, that was really funny. But a little bit of swaps here. And that is gonna be, ooh, we just got word of the next map. It's gonna be Clash by choice. Throne of Anubis.
In our Lord and Savior's year of 2024, we're having Clash picked as our map. That just shocks me. I'm just like, excuse me? But I was casting a collegiate game last week, and literally BSC, one of the top collegiate teams, took Northwood to Throne of Anubis, ironically, beat them like 5-1 or something like that on the map.
Oh, wow.
And then they go, haha, took them to silly map and won. Like, it's just to throw teams off. Like, it's interesting.
It's a genuine strat. I can't lie. I have a team I'm on where we actually do that as a strategy, as like a map 2 or map 3. We'll go Clash. We'll go Throne of Anubis specifically. And it throws teams off. You know, I know a lot of teams that actually actively choose not to scrim Clash for whatever reason, right? And I feel like with this map pick, it will allow teams who thrive off of chaos to do so much better on Throne of Anubis. And I feel like with the speed, oh, I see who's subbed in. It's Skibbity Riz. Now I have to say Skibbity Riz all stream. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Thank you, Fishes.
You know, as everyone likes to call me, the boomer caster. I mean, they say we have a lot of boomer casters. We're older. I will not be saying Skibbity and Riz. You're getting me to say Riz, so I'll just call him Riz.
I work with middle schoolers as an art teacher, and the amount of times I've heard Skibbity Riz, it becomes second nature to me, unfortunately, especially as now we've started off, and oh, speaking of Skibbity Riz and Elemental, Inu popping off on the Widowmaker here, as we did see this is her preferred character, and I think we can see exactly why, getting a lot of value by kind of catching Vicious off guard, I feel.
That's 3 opening picks for Edu and the Widow. We talked about how Widow's definitely creeping up in the meta and becoming much more popular. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it on my bingo card for a map like Throne of Anubis, but they make it work. I mean, you lose 2 there. Skibbity Riz gets 2 on the Reaper, so that's going to open up the floodgates for this next point. So the side of Dakr Sun's going to have to be a lot more patient before getting ready to push.
At least they have about 10 seconds before the objective unlocks to recoup themselves and get themselves back situated as a team, especially as we start fighting outside the objective. But a big purple does come through from Anime, who is now gone again to the Ana here so early on. Dakr Sun losing Inu so early as well. I mean, you're getting pelted by both a Reaper and a Tracer. Your Widowmaker can be struggling a little bit in these Titan excursions on Throne of Anubis.
That was the thing why I wasn't really expecting the Widow as much on this map, because the Tracer has so many just like close quarters, a lot of areas to dodge and weave, and can just get on top of the Widow. They're just going to give up the point. I think this is a smart thing. Just take the second point where it's going to be a lot more open angles for Inu to be able to take, and then your Mauga can just brawl out on the point.
Oh, beautiful sleep from Anime, just making sure Inu cannot walk, and slightly missing that headshot onto Skibbity Riz, but a-okay. The fight's still happening outside, where Dakr Sun is absolutely wanting to be playing in their strengths with the Malga comp, and it kind of forces Inferno once again to back away from the center point.
Yeah, again, this feels like it's going to be constant back and forth, kind of how Clash is. It is basically like tug of war for a reason. Last time Dakr Sun got a little big for their britches, and again, Inu gets found.
Now, Event does get expended here, which means, we're down that major resource, but it doesn't really matter. Thankfully, Beastology following up on Demigasa and on the Reaper. Good whip shot away. Skibbity Riz had forced to back away from the support lines of the Dakr Suns, the Sin and Master, who, good hedge. Narrowly able to escape that headshot by looking down. Very smart from Skibbity Riz.
Yeah, the point just unlocked, so Dakr Sun's gonna have an ability to re-engage here, and they're gonna have an orbital ray to work with.
Demigod coming in, has a Death Blossom ready in the backseat, looking like a big sleep on Blizido, and an even better Rampage comes through. Only finds Malga, however, but that's all you really need to make sure you win the day, even with the Death Blossom. So that's 2-2 so far on Throne of Anubis, still forced to go back to his middle point.
I mean, the thing is, this just used 3 ultimates in that fight. I mean, yes, you lose it, but you didn't use a single one. Inu's going to go down early, but again, you can just re-engage with your 5 ultimates you're about to have.
Exactly, and play the back and forth into your favor. Here comes the orbital ray, and no cage needed. Just walking with the ray is enough for the side of Dakr Sun to get so much value, and with, of course, a Reaper in the back line, no one's looking at him. You find the value with the Death Blossom on both Elemental and on a main. Demigod Sun making a name for himself once again, as it looks like we're going to be able to find this point in Dakr Sun's favor.
And they only used 2 ultimates, so they're going to have another 3 to re-engage in this next fight, and you got Vicious to use the rest of the ults they had in their back pocket, so now you can just cage and rally with the freedom. I mean, not after Bestiology picks you, though.
I mean, I would say cage, but looking like Bestiology finding the value, taking out the sniper and taking out the tank, and with 5 seconds to spare before the objective unlocks, Dakr Sun has to either make a break for it or just kind of concede this point.
That's going to be the big question to me, is are they going to look to push here? They do get the sights off, which to me might indicate they want to push.
And they're trying to push. The rewind, the recall does come through. Here comes the rally as well, and the cage fight is massive. Finds 2 of the most important characters in the side of the Vicious Inferno, that being Skibbity Riz and Immortal on that Reaper and Dragon Queen. And just like that, the rest of the team of Vicious Infernos do kind of fall over like dominoes, and Anime is not safe to his fate.
And that was the power of a great ultimate cycle from Dakr Sun. 3 ults to be able to use, and they're able to use that to be able to capture the next point. Vicious, however, is now going to have a stronghold for the next couple of fights in the ultimate economy. Dakr Sun's just going to have to be patient and look to draw out ults without using any of their own.
And the first one that comes out is going to be that pulse on from Obestiology, kind of backing up to that right side you kind of saw, just staring at, that with pulse bomb on the floor. Spaghetti all over the floor. Skibbity Riz having the Death Blossom and the Rampage for Immortal is going to be huge here, and the window, but Dakr Sun is gonna be conceding this point, knowing that Vicious Inferno definitely have that home spawn advantage.
As we see Skibidi Riz with the Death Blossom trying to find an opportunity to be able to use it. Point is capped. 2 points left for Vicious to try and tie this up 1-1. They have a lot of tools in their arsenal to work with. Rampage, Blossom, Window. It's got to be...
Here comes the Blossom, it comes through, and the Rampage, both expended in not even a last fight situation. So when we do go to this middle point, inevitably once again, they're not going to have anything but the support ultimates to work with for the side of Vicious Inferno, whereas Dakr Sun are coming up on that orbital array, have the Death Blossom. How are they going to be securing this fight here?
It's all coming down to this final fight. I think it's going to depend how aggressive you get. Can you find the kills before this orbital array comes online? You're going to be looking very rough if you're not able to do that.
And the Anthony gets expended on Demigodson, meaning that Blazito is free to really wreak havoc no matter what. And the lamp gets expended, but Elemental not safe from the Death Blossom coming in from Demigodson, and as well as the fact that Immortal gets nanoed. Maybe for some survivability from Anamain, but it's just not going to be enough, unfortunately. Just like that, it is a really good ult cycle. We have the cage ready almost, if there is a re-engage from Vicious Inferno as they go over to the Diva.
Yeah, Beastology should be able to get the touch on the Tracer. Has the Pulse Bomb available. Can they make something happen? Make magic work.
I love magic, and there it is. It gets stuck, and it finds nothing. No, but it's even okay. It's okay for Dakr Sun, as you know, the Pulse Bomb not being able to stick on anyone is huge. Allows the rally to come off, and that is another one fight. 5-4 on Throne of Anubis, going the distance, but 2-0 in this series in favor of Dakr Sun.
Extremely close series coming out from Vicious, but they just haven't been able to. It feels like when clutch time comes out, Dakr Sun has been able to come through in those moments, and that's been the deciding factor in the series. To see the Widow play the game, ended up getting 3 in that opening gambit, but as we saw, it was 2 solo kills, 2 headshots, and they get the Tracer there. So you didn't get to see it, but they did.
They did. The kill feed said they did. I promise they did. It was the Widow. I think was very monumental in that first engagement to solidify that first point advantage that Dakr Sun honestly ran with for most of the series until they forced Vicious Inferno back into their own spawn objectives. So the surprise factor was very much real, and I'm very glad that Inu was able to play her character on such an unconventional Widowmaker map. So kudos to you, but we've gone to the point now, Ray, where we're at a match point situation for Dakr Sun, and Vicious Inferno needs to make magic happen now or never.
Yeah, they're going to have one opportunity to figure that out. We are going to throw it to a quick break. Vicious needs some time to figure out their map pick because it's the most important map pick they have made all season long. Who is going to take it? Does Dakr Sun punch their ticket to the next round of the winners finals, or does Vicious make a resounding comeback? Find out after this break.
And welcome back, everybody, after a very nice short pause between our map 2 and our map 3. We've made it. We do have, of course, in the lead, Dakr Sun, 2 up in the series against the Vicious Org in general, Vicious Inferno specifically, doing so well into Vicious Inferno. Now, taking us over to the map 3 we've all been talking about, we've been waiting for, King's Row.
Which is an interesting map choice. When we heard this coming back from the break, we we're like, well, you're just asking them to keep playing the Mauga. You're not forcing them. It's not like you're like, you know what, let's take this to Watchpoint Gibraltar. Like, you're going to have to play dive against us or something. They're like, nope, like, let's keep the brawl game going. That's what we're going to see. And we do have 3 swaps coming in for the side of Vicious Inferno. We're going to have to see if this is going to be enough. We got Pure coming back in for Skibbity. We got Flame coming in on the tank. And Brewski coming in for Anime on the support.
And interesting, you know, having a basically almost a full team comp switch specifically for Hybrid, for King's Row. You know, we might still see the Mauga coming in from our new tank, of course. But I fully expect for Vicious to play that Ram that we saw on Control Point a little bit earlier today. And, you know, played it relatively well, where it went a lot more even, a lot more toe-to-toe with Dakr Sun, but with, of course, our new tank in the tank on deck here, having the Dragon Queen as their specialty, as their favorite character. I do want to see how they're gonna be dealing with this. I feel like Mauga could still absolutely be an option. I feel like we could also see the Orisa, the Ram, and ooh, looking like Flam on the Sigma instead, which is definitely a change of pace I like to see.
My brain is hurting a little bit. Like, it's not the fact that I think Sigma's a bad composition. I think it's fine, but this is the map you take us to if you want to play Sigma. You know, you would think, you know, off the top of my head, I could name 2 hybrid maps that I would think favor Sigma more. 3. I could, if Numbani was in the map pool, that's better for Sigma. If Blizzard World was in the map pool, that's better for Sigma. And I mean, just those 2 off the top of my head, it's crazy.
And the other map pool they had to choose from, I believe, is Eichenwald, we saw yesterday.
Yeah, Eichenwald wouldn't be bad for Sig either. A Bestiology gets an opening pick on it. You know, that's what you need.
Oh, that's... Oh! And he was like, oh, wait, I got it up a little bit. Hold on. Oh, Bestiology. Showing, yeah, I know how to play the Tracer and the Reaper and the Widowmaker. Nearly whiffing those shots on Inu, and it might be forcing herself off the Widow as she's kind of being contested extremely heavily on that high ground, while the rest of Dakr Sun rotating around the hotel here. And Demigod-san, I mean, just goes straight in for the kill on Beastology, now allowing Inu to set up herself perfectly with the Widowmaker, and now Blitzito, kind of pretty much uncontested, goes right into it against Flam here on the Sigma, but has to be very careful as Mastor trying to kind of fight off the supports. I mean, found 3 people away from his tank, and it's looking like it's not really gonna work out as well with Flam turning around and getting some sick shots.
If they could have found the kill onto Flame during all of that, that would have made the difference, but they weren't able to because, like you said, they had them completely walled off and they couldn't really provide support to their team as much as they would have liked. So far, so good on the Sigma composition, but I just feel like if this Mauga composition really gets itself going and they start working together as a unit, it should work out very well for them.
Oh, it was better work out even better is that there's no Juno for Dakr Sun, so how are they gonna press on without their main source of healing? They have to reconvene, wait for Sin to respawn, and Pure. I mean, he has an Bob ready here, so good contesting. Flame also about to get that flux for himself. So looking like a very, very happy situation that they're working with. And Blitzito opting to go for the Reinhardt.
Hey, the Rhine, you wanted the Rhine.
In. Oh, Bob! It's huge. Oh! Another one for the bump to Beastology, taking it down against Inu, and now, yeah, Dakr Sun is forced to retreat. Is this what they needed here, right?
See, the thing for me is, like, yes, I think it's working very well, and it's a nice change of pace. But if you're the side of Dakr Sun, if you're gonna play the Rhine, play the Rhine. Get Inu off of this Widow. You want everyone working together in tandem on this Reinhardt.
Yeah, and you can't even sigh. Oh, you were caught typing. Inu caught typing by Beastology on that high ground. And I have to agree with you. I think the Widow swap here would be impeccable just to put a lot more pressure on Beastology rather than forcing yourself into a Widow duel all day.
As we're going to have to see, they have both their support ultimates to engage into this fight.
Oh, and the shield's broken! Master sacrificing his own shield with the rally, and Sin coming through with that orbital ray and just nearly trying to get out of the flux. The orbital ray does come in with that extra 85 healing over time, and that is huge for Dakr-san.
Yeah, that should pretty much wrap up this point. For the side of Vicious Inferno, I mean, they're going to have Flame go over to the Winston now. I mean, I guess considering, you know, the Genji and the Widow are very susceptible to the Winston, but again, I'm still not sure about it, especially when you're playing Kiri back. I mean, that feels very weird with the Winston.
Yeah, and Elemental could absolutely swap, having already expended that window. But looking like they're gonna just station themselves in that street phase. Flame already super low, forced to retreat back with the rest of the team here. Here comes the size from Inu, and it's there just as fast as it was. It's gone just as fast as it was used, and just like that. I mean, Vicious Inferno looking like a completely different team on King's Row.
That they are. Beastology is having himself a map on this Widow. Inu, who looks so good on Throne of Anubis, it feels like Beastology is like, all right, you want the Widow duel? I'll give it to you and then some, and has been performing very well so far.
I definitely have to give Beastology his flowers. Very nice Widow so far, keeping Inu in check most of the time. You know, I'll play 9 times out of 10. Here, having a Bob ready already, depending on the objective itself. Here comes the Dragon Blade from Demigodson, and then not really gonna be able to find too much value. Gets shut down by Elemental, but Bazito and Sin both able to follow up from that Dragon Blade, forcing Vicious Inferno kind of clear out the streets. But the payload wasn't really moving in that entire amount of time, so they have to kind of reconvene on the payload with only less than 2 minutes to go.
As we see, Beastology gonna go over to the Reaper now to provide some more support to the Mauga from Dakr-san. I mean, the big question is, how do you deal with this incoming Kitsune rush? I mean, you're going to have to hope to get these support ultimates up pretty quickly.
I mean, when Brewski is able to find, his own value by using that Kitsune rush in his, on his terms, it works so much better for the side of Vicious Inferno. And knowing that Prime was ready, able to duke it out against Mastor on the Brig, it's a nice, clean fight from Vicious Inferno. Oh,
getting out that Getting out that Primal's huge, and getting that opening pick onto Pure. Vicious Inferno now have to look to play safe, but the opening pick goes back for Beastology. But as defenders with spawns, spawns are kind of even at this point, I guess, but I feel like the defenders need to play a little bit safer.
And just because, Pure can always play a little bit far back, it's not horrible. They'll be 5 in relatively short amount of time, but even better, here comes the window, forcing this alleyway to be cut off, and then Demigodson teleporting in a little bit too late after the fact, gets focused and forced a Wraith away to safety around this corner. And now the Mauga back to play. Here comes, of course, that orbital ray down the streets, and we shut down Brewski and Elemental at the same time. And you're trying to teleport away is not going to happen on Sin's watch here.
Yeah, this orbital ray has just been a huge win condition for the side of Dakr-san. I mean, for all things, for all intents and purposes, it's one of the best ults in the game, even with all the nerfs it's been continuing to get. Blazito is now going to have this cage to work with, as Vicious Inferno is going to have Flame go over to the Diva now. I mean, we saw this kind of play out on on Lijiang Tower, and it didn't go well last time.
The Diva here, I'm not really too mad about. Negates the Mauga, negates the Reaper ult, negates the Widow for most times, right? So pretty much a big fan of it. We are going to be seeing pretty even ult economy here, save for the cage front that Blizzard has in his back pocket that can be expended at any moment. Now, Beastology is still trying to find out where Inu is. Let's get the opening pick here, and ooh, finds it just like that so easily.
And they're just continuing to waste more and more time. Demigodson, however, finds Beastology.
And here's the cage fight as well, coming from Blazito, and I mean, doing wonders for side of Dakr-san. D-Max the Diva, make sure that Flame goes right back to that spawn room, and now we're pressing that advantage very nicely. The Bob ready for Pure, cannot find the last main kill needed on Demigodson, but Inu absolutely does on the Beastology, finally getting her one in this series.
Pure has the Bob ready and on call to try and make something happen. Demigodson, however, with the Death Blossom, goes down.
Oh, that's huge. With only 30 seconds left to spare, you've lost the Death Blossom for now. You've got the Bob expended, and we're pushing the advantage so easily. The tactic of wasting time is working in favor for Vicious Inferno, setting up Beastology very nicely as well to hold this advantage for another. There's just 12 seconds.
They're going to have a lot of ults to work with on both sides. Every time Sin has had this orbital ray, Dakr Sun cleans up.
3 seconds, 2. Here comes the orbital ray. The Godson gets booped away from the high ground without the Death Blossom, and there is that Diva Bomb gets sought out after Ray. Manaso still having that rally. Needs to use it on this objective as it gets pushed and pushed further down King's Road. Just Elemental with the window. It's forced to be the last one to touch. Is able to find the amp, but gets whip shot away from the objective down into the lava. His last fight, Territory Blitz, fighting for his life here against the staggering team of Vicious Inferno. Is just Genji left, and here comes the ball from Flam, the teleport from Sin, and they should be able to find the Sin early on without that teleport in needed. Suzuki expended. Ooh, it is a done deal. Inu has his sights online. Sin's down for the count. Master swapping over to that Lucio.
Wow, the stalls coming in. Pure was able to hang on just long enough to get the ball and Tracer back as Dakr Sun gets stopped from capping all 3 points. And Vicious Inferno now has a condition where as long as they complete this map, the reverse sweep is on the table. But the same can be said for Dakr Sun. As long as you can stop them here, it's all over and you're moving on to the next round.
That's all they need just to take it to point 3 of King's Row. Just to make sure that they don't fall to loser side. You don't want to go loser side this early on. As there's some killers already down there. I know, Patillo Pillagers down there as well, and they went really even with Vicious Outlaws. So we already know who's going down there at the same time. Oh, and thinking of bracket update, I don't think we were able to say it on stream, but Vicious Control taking it 3-0 in their series versus the the Demon Kittens. So very nicely done. They've already solidified 2 Vicious teams in the round 2 spot. Sorry, 3. So just Inferno needed to rejoin with their brethren in that round 2.
Vicious Org having a good run in the CGL playoffs so far. Can they make it a clean 4 sweep and complete the reverse sweep? That would be the quadfecta at this point. We're going to have to see as Beastology opening up on the Widow once again.
And you saw that angle that Inu was going for? Kind of a tricky angle to deal with. Usually Widow's on that other high ground across the King's Row, but Inu was right in front of the hotel. Flam going with the Sigma once more, putting the shoot up to kind of block off Inu from getting any sort of value on her character. And ooh, we're getting jumped by Demigodson. Could deflect from Pure, whose mission is to take care of Inu, and looking like he's going to be able to relatively effortlessly, in fact. Now again, Blazito coming on the Malga, duking out with the Sigma here, but the excellent heal of the Kiriko and the Baptiste make sure that Flam does not go down early on. Having to play that mini pack around the statue, and you've lost your Brig. The Kiriko has to be so careful how they reconvene here.
Yeah, Dakr, you trade Brig for Kiri. You're just trading at this point. I mean, it does favor the attackers, but they need to make sure they get back and re-engage, getting Demigods. Man, these trades going back and forth.
Inu still on that high ground, but Beastology able to find the pick on Inu after their own Baptiste does go down for the count. Good revenge, but looking like a fat time bank coming in favor of Vicious Inferno as the second tick is coming through. Still Blazito hiding in the hotel, waiting for the team to come back before inevitably coming to touch. Just Master and Sin there. Sin solo already. Has to be super careful how they come back to the fray. And just like that, Blazito's gone. Yeah, you take care of Pure, but my tank is gone. Beastology forced to just duke it out in that front line on the Widowmaker. The rally is also here for Master and the Orbital Ray. Ooh. We're playing the game of Overwatch with all these ults being expended.
Yeah, but it feels like it's everything that Vicious could have wanted because they still are looking very good and very clean. You say that Flame goes down.
And an even better blade comes through to save the day is what I would say. Master going down, but Sin finding that melee attack on Pura after being so low from targeting Master like that. 2 ticks on the board here for Vicious Inferno. They just need 1 more tick to get a really good ult bank. Otherwise, Dakir's Son is going to be running away with this victory.
They do have a Kitsune Rush coming online, but Demi-Godson has this Death Blossom. I think it's really going to be who takes advantage of these ultimates, but Beastology doesn't matter. Inu's down.
And that's huge. Now they're forced kind of back away from the objective. I love that Beast was trying to go for that last minute touch, but with the Kitsune Rush from Brewski, I mean, everything is just looking in favor of Vicious Inferno ideally, but as I say, they're getting pushed back, and Brewski narrowly escaping within an inch of his life. Flame cannot say the same, and just as I say that, Brewski and Mental joining their tank in that exchange there up after the Death Blossom.
I was going to say it was looking rough, but if you find a good amount with the Death Blossom, and not only that, but you found specifically the support, so that was big time. Oh, if they get this Genji, oh, Pure goes down as we see the Diva swap coming over from Flame.
That stagger on Pure is monumental. Elemental doesn't have the Rainbow coming up relatively soon as Bap builds it up unknowingly quick, right? But here's the cage on Blazito, trapping my boy Flame in this corridor. And I mean, a lot of red in that kill feed, Ray, is looking like a Dakir Sun W in the next 30 seconds.
Ooh, it's gonna be a tough one. We're gonna have 1 ult versus 1 ult for this final fight. Elemental's window going up against Maz Tor's rally. But the thing is, I feel like if you're Vicious, you need to win this quickly because Sin is 70% to that orbital ray. If that ult gets online in this fight, it's over.
Yeah, because what's Orbital Ray gonna do against a window, right? Who cares at that point when they're bum rushing onto you after that Orbital Ray? Flame coming in to contest. Here comes again that window coming through to maybe help out the team here. But like I said, they do just walk all over Elemental, and the rally does not help whatsoever in Elemental's survivability. Yes, Pure gets 2, but once more, it is a W for the side of Dakir's Son. Pure narrowly finding the time to, get their 1, but oh wait, Big Stick goes nowhere. It is gonna be Dakir's Son taking it 3-0 in this series after a wonderfully done hold on King's Row.
As the Vicious Org is not able to go 4-0 in the first round of the bracket, but all things considered, they're still alive, so all teams can still make it very far. But shout outs to Dakir's Son. I mean, throughout the night, they have looked like the better team, especially in clutch time. And it felt like that whole second attack, that whole defense there, it felt like they were constantly in clutch time. They would get someone picked off and they were in a 4v5, but they always clutched up.
They really did. I'm thoroughly impressed. Dakir's Son taking it over Vicious Inferno, and arguably, I thought this was going to be a little bit closer just because I know how, excuse my words, vicious that org can absolutely be. We had just seen tonight the 3-0 for Vicious Control, the 3-1 for Vicious Outlaws, and, Vicious Inferno now having to see its brethren maybe at another time as they now have to duke it out in loser's side of the bracket here. As the bracket starts updating, we'll see exactly who they'll be going up against, but Dakir's Son, as we mentioned, the winner of this match will be going against Mental Institution in their winners round 2, and that might spell a different story for Dakir's Son, as Mental Institution is a tough cookie to crack as a team.
And they've been easily the second best team in this division outside of Beagle Bus. Mental Institution, the one thing about them, if they've been doing what they've been doing the whole season, I think they've carried it through, but that's Glacier's team, and all they've been doing is playing Reinhardt comps. So at least you know what you're going to get when you play them, but they just play that Reinhardt comp at such a high level. But even if they don't, I mean, the Malga is a great substitute for Reinhardt anyway. You can play the exact same composition as you would with the Rein with the Malga. So either way, this is a good meta for them.
Absolutely, but even better is that we have an interview lined up for you guys after this very quick break. So don't go anywhere. Be right back with somebody from Dakir's Son. So don't go anywhere. BRB. And welcome back, everybody. After a riveting 3-0 in favor of the Dakr Suns, we have Demigodson coming in for an interview with us at CGL. Ooh, let me sit on myself real fast. Hello, Demigodson. How are we feeling after a wonderful 3-0 tonight?
The usual, feeling awesome, I think, yeah, the platinum and the black is like the new wave,
Yeah,
I was literally gonna mention that.
we already knew, like we have that connection already. For your first question, I do have to ask you guys. I want to know the idea of the tank swap we did see on King's Row, and what the reasoning was for it. Was it just for playtime? Was it for tank and also support and backline, support and DPS character comfortability? I want to know something a little bit about that.
So Kings Row, we kind of after losing for like 2 minutes straight, realizing that we can't really close the gap between the Sig comp with our Mauga comp, we just kind of had to switch it up. Tried the Reinhardt, and worked a little better for us.
Yeah, for me, coming into that King's Row, did you see what they did on Ujek City? And just like, okay, I'm gonna take this challenge on as the Widow and take that 1v1 and absolutely smash it.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Did you take that as a challenge? Like, okay, like you saw what they did and you go, all right, I gotta one up you on the Widow.
I mean, Inu kind of picks Widow whenever she wants to, so that's kind of what happened there. But we made it work.
Now, you guys did amazing as well. Going against the Widow, which kind of caught you guys a little bit by surprise on Anubis, I would say, as you guys did get. Can't lie, she got a little bit of a 3K on you. I can't lie, but you guys did find a way to take it out on Anubis and get the W. And I have to ask, like, what was the thought with Anubis? When you saw that Vicious Inferno took you guys to that map as their losers pick, what was the idea?
Personally, for us, whenever we play Flashpoint, our strategy is usually just like a lot of dry fights and forfeiting fights, just so that we can win more points if we hold the center point. And that's kind of what you saw a lot in our gameplay. The only times that we really pushed for the second point on their side was to dry fight, or if we knew they didn't have ults and we could take advantage of that.
Yeah, last question for me. I mean, coming into King's Row, did you guys expect that Sigma comp? Because I mean, I was just like, why would you take him into King's Row? You're just asking them to keep playing Mauga, and then they pull out Sigma, and it actually did pretty good.
Yeah, that's also what we were thinking. We were like, oh, they're bringing us the Kings. We're just gonna keep playing the same comp. But then they swapped more than half of their roster, and they were like, oh, okay. Like we know they're gonna switch something up. They're probably putting in their they're more poke players in to try and make a distance between us and them.
Yeah, but you guys did a really good job overcoming that. Even at the end of the day, getting it to almost third point and then able to full hold on King's Row. I have to commend y'all on that. For your final question, please, you're on the stream, you're live. Who do you want to give a shout out to? Could be anyone your heart desires, could be multiple people. So I just want to know.
I'll give a shout out to y'all, because thank you. This is actually the first time that we've won in a casted game. We've been cursed for the past 2 seasons, and we finally won in a casted game. So I'm finally happy not to be laughed at by chat.
I'm sorry if you saw you being cast and you're like, wait, guys, we're gonna lose.
I was so
we turned it
upset.
around for you guys. You guys did absolutely amazing today. Again, 3-0 is something to be celebrated. So please go celebrate tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful celebration with the rest of your team. Let them know that we extend our congrats to the rest of the Dakr Suns, and we'll hopefully see you guys for your round 2 against Mental Institution.
Thank you so much.
Of course, have an absolutely great time, Demigod.
You too.
And just like that, that is the end of winners round 1. Dakr Sun versus the Invicious. Who? The Vicious Infernos in a nail biter 3-0 series. I'm satisfied. That was a great watch.
It absolutely was. Very excited for Dakr Sun. I'm glad we could end their caster curse as it was for the on-stream games. And just very happy. So as we get ready to close things out, I just want to reiterate, guys, make sure you follow. We're going to be streaming as many of these playoff games as possible. We have CGL 1, CGL 2, and CGL 3. Keep an eye out on all of those channels. And even live right now, we're about to close out. CGL 2 still has a match going on, so make sure you go tune in there. We're going to raid them, I believe, hopefully. But make sure you go tune into there. And with that, it's been Mataneva joined by 2Tryhard Ray. We had a great cast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you guys for coming in, and we'll see you at the next cast.
Lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love.